Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I have the 2010 Mustang GT with no AC clutch, and but this time it's actually a noisy clutch activation on the relay. So for those that haven't seen that video, I actually have it pulled up in here. This is exactly the same computer, and I'm going to play this one just a little briefly. I have the let me lower the volume so you don't hear two voices at the same time. So what I'm doing in here, I had a test line connected to ground or sorry, connected to power in the same terminal 14 as I have in here. So one thing that you always need to do is make sure that your equipment is working good. So you're not going to condemn a computer or something because you have a burn bulb or a blowing fuse or something, right? So we can see the test light works good when I connect it to power and ground. I'm going to connect it over to the same pin 14, as I show there in the video. So that is, let me just go back again to the spot where I'm pointing at. You can see, let me just play a little bit. I'm just showing that I have the oscilloscope connected, but you can see the same pin 14, and I'm saying that I'm connected to battery positive through a test line, and I'm doing the activation with the top down, and I can see that on the actual oscilloscope when it's being turned on, and we can see that it works good. I tried multiple times and it was working 100%. So, not sure what happened from there to now. I know that the technician called me and said, Maya, it's definitely not working. It worked for a few times when the vehicle was cold, and then it stopped working when the vehicle warmed up. And I'm like, a relay should not be cold or warm. It should make no difference. These computers are attached to a firewall. He said that this is attached on the um, engine room, but I mean, probably he's referring about the actual firewall, but I will have to, let me actually look into that one. All right, so yeah, he is correct. And yes, we can see the location of that computer is actually right next to the, kind of like in the radiator area. They have a bracket so the computer holds these same uh, ears that we see here. We see right there the computer. So yeah, it is an engine room. But yes, he said that it gets a little warm. I said, well, then that will be the computer, not the relay. But obviously, the computer is the one in control of that. But again, I didn't have any problems here. So what I want to do now is actually do the test. The computer is now talking and connected. So we are with the B number. I'm going to do the same thing as I did before. Turn this on, is on, and nothing is happening. So definitely now is 100% not working. And this is what I tried to reproduce the last time. I said, I have the driver, but I don't think me changing the driver is going to change anything. I also talked to him and I explained that, it's very important that you have the correct relay installed because, the clutch in the AC compressor, it will act as a coil, right? So it's like an ignition coil. It will charge, and when you release, it will collapse and then release or hold the clutch open and close, right? So that power, whatever power is left over, it will try to come back in the same wire. If you don't have a diode on the relay, it will go through the relay on the way to the PC, sorry, to the, not the PC, to the PCN, right? Because the relay, well, actually, I'm saying this wrong because we're not in the load side. This will be the control side. So, but it's the same thing. A relay when it collapses, it has a little bit of a spike, and we don't want the spike to go back. So what you want is to just go back to the fuse and then on the ground and to the battery, right? Same thing on the clutch side. But um, yeah, I'm just suspecting that he might have an incorrect relay or again a failing computer. Finally, a give up. But yeah, so what I need to do or what I'm doing right now here is just reproducing the customer concern because I want to replace the driver I have in stock. So I'm going to open the computer. I'll be right back. All right, guys, I got ready. I'm ready to remove the component. And this I'm using this JBC kit. This air station has also a vacuum pump built in with a temperature sensor and everything. I don't need the temperature sensor for this. And I have the components in here. That is the actual component that I'm replacing right there. I'm going to put this in here so I don't damage them when I'm using my hot air station. The nice thing about that tripod that I have in there with the suction is that I don't need to hold it. I just need to warm it up. Oh, and I just turn it off. So let me reset that. I'll be right back. All right, user error again. So all I need to do is turn the air. Actually, I'm just tired. It's been a long day. It's almost 6 p.m. I think my time. Let me see what time is it. Oh, 6:20 p.m. So I'm working all day. Sometimes it's not a productive day because I need to watch into wire diagrams and a lot of information, pack everything. But it is what it is. All right, so let's start applying some heat. So for this, I want to show you in there. I'm gonna let the air gun work up in the air, and you will see how much temperature I'm applying. I'm usually apply maximum temperature with 90% air, especially when I have a cup. And then because this is going to be very centralized into the component that I have there, so I'm not really applying too much heat air, somewhere else. So this is going to help me hopefully remove that component quickly, because that is the side where the computer acts as a heat dissipating area, right? So you don't want to push too much temperature into other components that you don't want to remove. And that cup will help me funnel just the heat in there. Because otherwise I'm going to have to remove the board from the case, and I don't want to do that because these four computers are well known to go garbage after you try to do something like that, because the boards are, multi-layer, and then you end up breaking the pads and it's unrepairable. So be careful. Sometimes you have to do it. You have to be very careful. I have done it successfully, but I try to avoid it as much as I can. All right, guys, I just want to show you a little bit of how I'm doing this. I'm going to stop the video and do it myself because otherwise it's going to be too long. All right, yeah, this is very stuck and I don't want to remove the board completely from the case. So what I'm doing is using this hot plate. This is a very good hot plate to work in boards that are stubborn like this ones, and you don't want to remove it from the actual case. So what I usually do is I put a little bit of flux in there, and when the flux dissolves, let me just see how that looks. I have my glasses on me, so I have to look through the. Yeah, it's still not bubbling or anything. It's, as you can see, all, the smoke that you see in there is actually from the plate, not from the actual board or from the computer. See, because I can still lift this up, you see? That heat is from there. But the computer is indeed getting, I can still grab it by hand, but I can definitely feel it getting warmer. And that's what I'm looking for. So I'm just going to let it completely warm up the entire board. And then that will help me remove that one faster, because otherwise it's going to, just the hot air will have to heat up the entire this is like a heat sink right now, right? I mean, it's a heat sink. That's why it's like that. But the entire computer. So that's what I'm doing ahead of time, and then it will come up easier. All right, guys. I'll be right back. All right, guys. I got the IC remove. One thing that I would recommend to do, if you, I mean, first don't do it. Send it over. You will damage your computer if you try to do this yourself. This is a very strong bond on here. The reason again for this heat sink casing of the computer, if we see this IC, it has all the center is a ground. So let me just flip it around again. Hopefully the camera is picking this up. But yeah, all the center is ground and the rest is obviously the pins. And that's exactly what we got in that one. Make sure that you mark your orientation. Pin number one should be facing the connectors on the left side. And then I'm going to, well, I already cleaned everything in here, and I'm now going to put a new solder, which is now a less heat consuming solder than the one is on the board. And then That will work a lot better for me. All right, guys, let me install this and um, then put it back and see how we go. All right. All right, guys, I finished installing the component. I check, make sure that all the legs are soldered properly. What I did is heat it up in a hot plate and then apply it with the hot air right there, just air around till the component seat. And then I came back in the microscope and resoldered all the legs with flux and make sure that they were all doing contact. It is a little bit twist, but everything is properly. It's very hard to install those, especially when you have the board attached to this huge heatsink. Again, I don't want to remove it, but everything is perfect. So it's going to be a little hard to see just in the camera, but hopefully you can see that like all the shiny legs are all in place, so everything is good. All right, the moment it through in this case will be to do the test. So let me make sure that we are in the output test mode and that we are in communication because this is, I have it off before. So let me add the same air conditioning clutch. That's all we need to have, and then we can go back. It is already selected, so why is that? For some reason. All right, so it's now on, and then let's select the output test mode. The still is not working. So yeah, something. Let me completely get out of the computer because some might have um, false connection. So I'm going to exit completely. Let's even establish connection with the computer to make sure we are indeed talking. I see very good amp readings on the power supply. The computer is communicating properly. All right, we're going to establish communication again. Let me get this scanner closer so we can see that. But yeah, I didn't see any activation, so hopefully it was just because, again, I unplugged the computer and I needed to reestablish communication. All right, we select PCM. I am tired. Very, very hard to remove this component. And like I said, I'm going to have to probably make sure that I check the entire circuit to there because it might be something else that it was damaged after I give the computer back. I mean, doing testing and stuff like that is not uncommon because this was working properly every single time. I'll put this mode, key on engine off, blah, blah, blah. Let me select the clutch again. This is the clutch relay, right? For those that haven't seen the other one, so let's turn it on. And yeah, nothing is happening. So yes, we have a problem in here. Let me check my connections, make sure there are no bent pins or anything is obvious in there, but it looks like we have something else going on with this computer. I'll be right back. Hey guys, so yeah, I replaced the IC, no change. There is no activation. I have actually another computer here from another customer, and it's working 100%. So it's nothing wrong with the equipment, it's nothing wrong with the test, and it's nothing wrong with the IC. I also, as you can see off camera, just went and did the complete test of the IC, saving the file from a known good computer and all the signals. I even have, take the time and let me show you this because let me just show you the folder I have for MacBook. This is again the 2010. I have multiple files and information, and I even scope the signals from the actual control on this IC. So we have two signals that will be in charge coming from the microprocessor to control that IC, and that's the way they should look. On MacBook, I am getting nothing. I just get on a straight line on the red line. So the blue is the actual relay as I show here Hopefully you guys can read that. And then the red is the activation signal coming from the microprocessor. This is um, a multiple, let's say, MOSFET, or yeah, it's MOSFET due to the age of the computer, all built into one, and then the computer sends different signals to activate that one. Don't ask me for a data sheet because it does not exist. I cannot find it, not with the part numbers the four has in there. But then this is when I start doing reverse engineering and then finding all this information that I put together. So right now on the Kurt Tracer, I have this data that this is, pretty much powers and grounds and voltages are important onto this IC to work. So we have multiple ground path and inside also a main ground path, as I show in the picture. Let me see if I have it still here. I might have dumped it already of the IC. Yeah, it was broken. But the bottom of all this IC is a ground pad. So why is a big ground pad? Because this is controlling a ground for the AC relay and some other outputs are, I'm not seeing here yet, but we have multiple points like here. That might be an output. Like you see, this corner is an output, this corner is an output, these are all ground. So I think it may be two outputs and the rest is controls. But yeah, so AC relay from microprocessor, right? So CPDF file, this is for me that I put those and I am doing the test. But doing the test on his computer from a knowing good, everything is passing. The reason you will see here all these pads not being tested and not a green dot in there is because they're all ground. So I'm not going to check all of them, which I already did. But now with the curve tracer, because I know they're interconnected. So as long as I have the main pad on the underneath and this should all work. And everything is passing. So what is this telling me? My IC, the one I install, is good. Something happened with this computer. Now the microprocessor is not sending the signal. It's a burn inside. MacBall was telling me that this computer is getting hot. I can communicate. I don't know any other activation because I am not doing just a test for this AC relay. And if this cannot be fixed, I mean, he needs a computer. Right now, after the first test that I did to him, and now this is a completely different day, completely different time. Now I'm condemning this computer as not repairable. This is a microprocessor signal. And let me stop 1 second. Let me show you what I'm talking about. All right, this is not the same as specific computer, but this is also from Mustang, different year. The AC relay IC, and this one is same side, but we have multiple other components that are not in that one. This is again a different computer. So what Ford does, it uses the same layer, and then they remove or install other components. That we see the pads. You see those pads right next to the IC right here, right? See, like this one is not there and this one is not there. We have it here and here. So that's what is that in there. So that's the difference. But the actual computer itself is the same. And I have mapped out this, and this is the other side of the computer. And this is where the microprocessor for the transmission and for the engine computer lives. So again, we have multiple other ICs in here, but I have not mapped out those signals and they go straight to the microprocessor. So that deems this computer not repair. I'm not going to spend more time. I'm going to recommend him to just get another computer and replace it because this is not repairable. I will be stopping here because when I cannot repair the computer, I will not check or charge a repair fee. Obviously, I have not repaired, even though this is not my fault. I already have him paying a test fee on the first time. So I'm going to talk to him and explain that this is a second visit separate concern. This was not there as I was and I show my first video. But yep, so just keep you guys up to date and testings and results on these computers and what I do. Yes, hours and hours and hours and hours of testing. I probably have invested, I don't know, maybe 10 hours on this computer trying to help a customer. And this is where I take the loss. And I just, because literally a test fee for a computer like this doesn't really cover not even a star of my hours spent on here. But sometimes it's a win, sometimes it's not, right? All right, guys, thank you so much for visiting the channel. Don't forget to subscribe. See you next time. Bye bye.